Don't drop that dirk. Hey, don't drop that dirk.
Hello, it is Dirky DIrk. We have a new pack. So, thought I'd just talk about that a little bit. There's two of them apparently. You got $64.99 and $29.99. Which one would you get? Well, that's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? As far as I can tell, it's just a matter of lights. Decorative lights. Look, here you got the regular craps. This one, you've got the little lights that's on a wedge, which is really cool. You can use that for a lot of things. Steppenwolfs and scavenger wedges. But here's a secret, you can buy that crap. You know that, right? So, as always, when buying a pack, I always say, think about what you need to get in packs. It's not anything that can be bought from the market. It is armor. That's the one hard thing to do. Because in this game, you either buy the pack that has the armor, or you have to get to prestige. And it is possible, I've done it, but you have to unlock one by one all these armor pieces from packs. So, much easier to buy the pack itself. So again, quick summary from, I've already done this before. When you want to buy a pack, go and look for the pack with the armor that you want. All these guys have some nice armor. You buy one of these horseman packs, you will get armor, and you will get coins, and you can sell what you don't want and use that money to buy the stuff that you want. Like, for example, tank treads. So that's what you get. You get tank treads from this pack. Don't kid yourself. That's what you're getting. Tank treads. Crickets can be crafted or bought on the market. You want to get these tank treads that you cannot craft. That's the only way. Buy the pack, or seriously guys, use your in-game money to buy the tracks. That's it. And I will go through exactly what these tracks do, and I'll compare them to all the other stuff. So we are driving here at a large 50-ish, 52. We're going about 55 in this junk. It steers really well. It feels just like pretty much an armored track. So let's just do this little test and see how it does. In general, tracks, they grip really well. They do cap your speed, which we will talk about in a bit. And also, they usually have some kind of resistances. So this one does have resistance, minus one important one. I do like these little exhausts, but again, you can buy these exhausts, not a problem. Whoa, it just hit me that there seems to be an exhaust in this tread. That's really cool. Let's see how you do with the jump. Whee! Boom! Oh, I missed cyclotron just by 8. Well, that actually held up. I got all my parts. So those are the tank treads. What does that even mean? Let's find out right now. Here's a little nerdy spreadsheet for you. Now, I will not cover the smaller tracks. Those are just awesome. So we have your armored tracks. Your tank tracks is right between the Goliath. And that's kind of where we are. Let's start with armored tracks, which are my favorite tracks, and I would not trade them for tank treads, and I'll tell you why. As you know, my favorite build of all time, if you see me in PvP, is this guy, which just is freaking amazing. I mean, in this game, I love to have wheels. It's fun for me, but man, it's really hard to get through these tracks. So under the tracks, I am holding all my explodies very, very well covered. I got fuel tank over here. I got an amp here and more fuel. This stuff does not come off until the track comes off, which it usually doesn't. So they really, really do their job. And they're also very hard to wedge. You can do it with a wedge, but this slope is really not so much that you're just gonna kind of tip yourself over. And also you don't tip sideways very easily. Now let's talk about the Goliath, which is kind of the opposite. The Goliath has an extreme anti-wedge. You wedge them with anything. I use this vehicle right here to wedge Goliaths. Anything can wedge a Goliath. It's just too easy, and they tip over. And for the life of me, I don't know why people really run Goliaths so much as they do. Because for me, they're so easy to fight against. I'm not scared by them at all. But when I play with them, I really do actually feel OP. So guys, don't be scared of Goliaths. Rush in there and just get them. But I made the spreadsheet. Let's talk about it. So, armored track has maximum speed of 60. Goliath is 45. Definitely a big hit. You really do need Golden Eagle with Goliath. I do use it for armored, but man, 45 is pretty slow. Tonnage is 4,000. The Goliath is 6,000. Tonnage is not usually a problem. I mean, it kind of is since you only have 2 usually instead of 4 or 6 for wheels. But I always say you can slap on a wheel for more tonnage. The power drain, minus 40 for armored, minus 70 for Goliath. So yeah, they are pretty slow. Low acceleration, and once you start getting more wheels and stuff with Goliath, you're really kind of stuck. So yeah, durability is 1300 for armored, which is pretty respectable. Goliath is only 1600. That's not a whole lot of difference. So really consider that. If you're getting Goliath for the durability, I kind of rethink that a little bit. Your Goliath is an easy target, and when you shoot that, you've just got juicy bits behind that. Armor can actually be covered, so think about that. The mass is pretty heavy for all of them. Armored's 1440, Goliath is 1800. It's definitely a consideration. Goliath has some more. It's going to eat up some of your armor. Now resistance. So tracks, unlike other stuff, have resistance, like bullet resistance, 25 across the board, melee resistance, 50 across the board, heat resistance, 25 across the board, blast resistance, 25 for the armor tracks, which is partly why I say they really do their job of protecting the bits underneath, the soft, chewy bits, the fuel, the generators, all that stuff. Goliaths, no, and from what I've heard from Goliath players is that you don't want to put your fuel right next to your tracks because the blast will actually go penetrate the tank tracks and blow up your stuff. That's not quite the quality I want in a track. I mean, I guess you can bury your fuel deeper inside, but it's definitely a consideration. And the tank treads are the same, no blast resistance. So looking at these stats, I would still say armored is just my favorite. The tank tracks give you a little less speed, little more tonnage, less power for sure, a very little bit of durability, more mass, no blast resistance. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with armored. Now, of course there are other uses for Goliath and tank, and I get that, and if you're probably saying, no, I want Goliath, well yes, there are reasons why you would want Goliath, because of course it is a very easy way to protect everything above the frames. It covers your cab completely sometimes. It covers all your fuel exploding stuff without having to use armor. So it's very effective that way. You kind of make a sandwich, you put your chewy bits in the middle, and you just try to use... Yes, there's definitely reasons to use Goliath. But that's the thing, they go over the frames. And the other cool thing is you can build right on the thing. I don't totally recommend it, and if you know how to fight against Goliaths, you probably just shoot the Goliath and get rid of it. But you certainly can mount stuff on your Goliaths, and it also includes some spaced armor, which can actually save the health of your Goliath. So it's actually not a bad thing to have these fuse points, and also, of course, decor and fun stuff. But this guy, what does it do? Well, unfortunately, I can't pick it apart too much. The tank track also has some fusion points. This one is very interesting to me, actually, but it's on the top and the back, which is not quite as helpful as I would like. However, I guess if you have a weapon on top of the track, you can also include a grill so that it's attached to both things. It might not fall out very easily. It does cover a little bit, as far as I can tell. I don't know actually how much, but it can definitely save your fuel and generators just like armor track, but remember it doesn't have that blast resistance, so youch. They're also very, very long, kind of like a meat grinder long. They're huge. And the extra special thing about this one is, unlike either the armor track or the Goliath, they mount much, much higher. You have one extra build point under the track, so they are really good for undermounting. And that is really the only reason why you would choose tank tracks over armor tracks. But it's not your only option. You have your meat grinders here. So let's go over this again. Meat grinders, they are 60 as opposed to 55. Not much difference. Again, you can use Golden Eagle. The tonnage is really low for meats, and that does kind of hurt. You gotta pump up your cab, you need your engine, and I always stick some wheels in the back of them because they also can teeter-totter too easily. The power drain is a little less, which is good because you want more wheels anyway. Durability is a big hit. And look, you get your melee resistance. You don't get the other resistance, but that's still a pretty good one. And meat grinders are very balanced because, of course, you can just run over cap cans. They do melee damage. They shouldn't be any better than they are, really. Maybe a little bit. But they are very balanced and very good. Anytime I think undermounting, I always go to meat grinders. Look at that. I have 2 toadfish undermounted. How cool is that? So I guess in theory you could also use tank treads to do this. And the tank treads also will protect the top bits, because meat grinders definitely have that disadvantage in that they won't protect the stuff that you usually hide under your frames, your jennies, your fuel. You can't do that here because they are totally exposed. You actually put them higher up, and you have to be a little bit more clever with hiding that junk. Also, these tank treads can be wedged pretty easily. Not quite so much as a Goliath, and also it's harder to tip over like with Goliaths. But still, in battle, I'm not so scared of these so much. I just harass them, and even with my non-wedge big boy over here, I will just harass them constantly. And just keep on kind of tipping them up and then shooting the stuff from underneath. It's really easy. Not as easy as a Goliath, but too easy. So you probably do want to get some anti-wedging plows if you're going to run this thing. I mean, look at that. If you can do this, then you need an anti-wedge. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Wanted to show you these new tracks and kind of help you decide if you really want them. And if you do, I don't really recommend getting this pack because you don't get anything else that you can't get in the game otherwise. So like everything else, either do the hard work and just craft and grind and sell stuff and then buy them with in-game coins, or I guess go ahead and buy a pack with armor that you need and then use those coins to just get these tracks. But yeah, don't just go buying every pack, guys. Unless you're that rich, then I guess go ahead. But the other ones of us suffer because the game says, oh, this is how you make money. Let's keep doing it. Alright guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one.
Don't drop that dirk, hey, don't drop that dirk.